Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and today our goal is to prepare you for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I usually don't do refresher videos when there's only one film before this one, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a complicated thing, so we'll also cover the events of Civil War and a bit about the ending of Infinity War because it will likely come into play. So this is a spoiler warning if you don't want Infinity War spoiled for you, but most of you are likely here to get caught up, so let's do this. Our story begins with S.H.I.E.L.D., an organization with the intention to protect the world from supervillains and evil organizations. We meet Hank Pym in the past, where he used a technology called Pym particles to turn himself into a tiny version of himself where he acted as a covert superhero called Ant-Man. We flash forward to current day and Pym is retired. We slowly learn that he gave up most of his superhero antics because his wife, codenamed the Wasp, was lost during an accident and is stuck in what is called the quantum realm, where she was shrunk down to a size nearly impossible to return from. They had a daughter named Hope who has been trying to help her father, but in an effort to protect his daughter, Hank has kept her far from any sort of danger, even though she's an incredibly adept fighter. So if Hank Pym isn't the Ant-Man, who is it? We meet Scott Lang, who was arrested for stealing from the rich and giving back to those that were taken advantage of. He reunites with his old crew for a few more jobs, even though his ex-wife doesn't want him to for the sake of his young daughter Cassie. Together they attempt to rob Hank Pym and end up taking the Ant-Man suit. It seemed a little too easy, and it turns out that Pym was watching the whole thing unfold to see if Lang was qualified to potentially take over as the Ant-Man. Eventually Pym and his daughter Hope connect with Lang and teach him how to use the suit and its size-altering properties. Hope continually proves herself better with the technology than Lang, proving that she deserves a suit as well, but we'll get to that later. What can the suit do? It shrinks you down immensely, but you keep your strength as if you were full-sized, so you can do things like punch and throw people that are much larger. The suit also has built-in technology to communicate with ants, so Lang must practice giving them commands and utilizing different types of ants for different jobs. They decide to test out the suit and his ability to use it by stealing technology that they need from the Avengers headquarters, where Lang runs into one of the newer Avengers, Sam Wilson, also known as the Falcon. Lang and Wilson get into a brawl, and Lang eventually disables Wilson's flight suit and is able to steal the technology they need. Falcon was pretty impressed by Lang's abilities, which will come into play later. Now, the actual plot of the first Ant-Man won't likely matter too much. The villain Darren Cross created a version of Pym's suit called the Yellow Jacket and was going to sell the technology to some evil organizations for them to use. Lang fought the Yellow Jacket and even utilized a new skill to make objects larger and was able to eventually defeat Yellow Jacket by shrinking down into the quantum realm, the same place where Pym's wife had disappeared to, though Lang was able to recover and return, giving them hope that she may someday be saved. Scott and Hope shared a quick kiss, a blossoming romance, and then Pym finally shared the Wasp suit with Hope so that she could suit up alongside Lang the next time that they faced action. Sam Wilson eventually tracked down Scott Lang and began discussions for him to join the Avengers when the time was right. Well, timing is never perfect, and the Civil War erupted, tearing the Avengers in half. I won't go into the events of Civil War too much, but only Scott's role in it. Ant-Man was recruited by Captain America and his team of anti-government rebels who wanted to keep control of the Avengers themselves and not give that control to someone else. This would put Lang in legal hot water, as he's already served jail time, but he took a risk anyways and suited up, taking part in a giant battle in a Berlin airfield. He used his abilities to shrink down, but he also showcased a new ability to make himself larger, dwarfing the Avengers fighting, eventually taken down only through teamwork by the others. He was kept in a prison called the Raft before eventually cutting a deal and being put on house arrest. Now we get into more speculation, but I want you to be as prepared as possible. This movie is evidently a prequel to Avengers Infinity War, taking place at least before the climax of that film. In a nutshell, the alien warlord Thanos has assaulted Earth, though Scott is unable to join the Avengers due to his house arrest. This also explains why the Archer Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye, also does not appear in Infinity War, as he's also on house arrest with his family. So Ant-Man doesn't appear, but the ending of Infinity War sees Thanos assemble all of the Infinity Stones and snap his fingers, killing half of the entire universe. and we see many characters that we love slowly fall to pieces and eventually disappear. I'd predict that either the final scenes or a post-credit scene see some of our Ant-Man cast dissolve into nothingness, leaving us with what heroes will align with the Avengers to try to save the day in the next Avengers film next summer. I'd guess that either Scott or Hope will disappear, with the other teaming up with the Avengers, or they could pull an interesting move and kill them both, leaving Hank Pym to don the suit one last time. Anything is possible when Ant-Man and the Wasp hits theaters on July 6th. Make sure to check out our other Marvel content and subscribe for more stuff just like this.